This is Serena with Serena Shoots. I recently had the opportunity to shoot my first HUXWRX suppressor with a friend of mine and HUXWRX dealer, Mike Caprioli. These were super interesting as they feature flow-through technology that actually reduces the amount of noxious gases, toxic blowback coming back towards the shooter. So let's take a look.
What we have here are basically two identical rifles. This is a SIG Virtus, a Gen 2 of the SIG MCX. This one is in the SOCOM version. It's a 10.5-inch barrel, and it's wearing a traditional baffle type suppressor. And
you've also got like some silicone or something around the charging handle.
I added this for a reason. I haven't shot it yet. After I added it, after we shoot it, we'll see if it works.
Okay. It's designed to prevent the gases, the obnoxious gases, from coming back when you shoot an AR suppressed, right?
Exactly. And this is the Spear Light MCX, basically the third generation of the MCX. They're virtually identical, except with the Spear Light here, they went with an 11.5-inch barrel, and this one has the HUXWRX FLOW 556K. So we'll let you shoot both, because you had mentioned another suppressor you shot you didn't like because of the way it worked. So we'll let you get started with that one. Controls are everything, are typical AR. I don't need to cover that. You know how to use it, so there you go, young lady.
Before I get started, I did have a question of, I know you're a HUXWRX dealer,
yes.
Right? So what is the difference from HUXWRX versus other brand suppressors? What's different about them?
A traditional suppressor, they have baffles in here, chambers. Imagine like small rooms in here that hold the gas. What different manufacturers will do, they'll take the different baffle stacks and they'll redesign them, use different materials, they'll come up with different angles to make it more efficient. The HUXWRX, which this particular one, the Flow, is all 3D printed, which allows a huge ability to make minute changes in the system to make it more effective. So what happens with the HUXWRX, instead of capturing the gas to get to slow down, it diverts it into chambers that run parallel to the suppressor itself. Because if you notice at the end of the suppressor, it has vents in here.
Yes.
So some of the gas comes out through the vent. One of the advantages of this is that those vents also act like a brake. You'll notice the difference when you shoot it. It's almost like a brake.
Okay.
The rifle's being pushed back into your shoulder. Other issues is that it prevents backflow back here, where all of that bad gas is coming out.
Okay.
With a traditional suppressor, because the gas is getting captured, gas is going to seek the path of least resistance. The biggest path of least resistance in any rifle is the barrel, the bore itself. So all that gas has to go somewhere.
And that's also got, lead and other not so great stuff in it as well, right?
Yeah, you've got the lead from the primer, you've got arsenic, maybe some cyanide in there from the gunpowder. There's a great folder and information on the HUXWRX website about heavy metal toxicity and signs of it, which we can get into later. But so for most traditional suppressors to overcome that buildup of back pressure, what you have to do is either put in an adjustable gas block or add a heavier spring or a heavier buffer. But what can happen with that is now your rifle works with the suppressor on, but it doesn't work with it off, and now you're adding more stress to the system. The HUXWRX suppressor, you don't have to make any modifications to your rifle.
Okay.
And all of the gas is going out the front. My X95 Tavor which is notorious for the blowback because the ejection port's right there by your face. I don't get that when I put a HUXWRX suppressor on it. It's gone. All right, so we'll let you get started there, young lady. You know how that works.
So should I shoot this like a service rifle shooter, or how you're?
However you want.
Okay. Well, it's heavy.
Shoot it like a defensive. Yeah, like that. There you go. Forward.
Yeah, it's still getting in your eyes.
Yeah, you see all that gas coming out?
That's not enjoyable to shoot.
Okay, go ahead and make it a safe weapon.
Cool.
All right, so you can use the same magazine. I was getting all that gas back here too.
Yeah, I could. The thing is after the first shot, you really can't see.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Just stock Federal 55 grain.
Okay. That's awesome.
A lot different, huh?
Oh my God.
And it sounds a lot different. I'm hoping the cameras picked up all that gas that was flying back out of that gas port.
That's actually enjoyable to shoot.
All right.
That's awesome.
What's amazing too with that suppressor on this rifle, this excellent SIG spear, is I'll go to our rifle range here that goes out to 300 yards. It's the same point of impact with the suppressor on and with the suppressor off.
I was going to ask about that.
With that flow. Now, we're going to talk about some
It's still
tactical
loaded.
shooting. Okay, it's unsafe.
Yeah, I know that I'm not very well versed in
Well,
that.
because that's not the world you grew up in, and
No.
that's fine. So, the grip here, one of the biggest things I found out with the grip, like when I was deployed, it was, because we all had our IFAKs right here,
Yeah.
is I could just hold this thing. if I had, it's like, okay, I can cover this here. But unlike high power shooting, where we're letting the sling do the work and standing, we're just letting the rifle hang there.
And you're basically relying on bone support.
Exactly. So here we're relying a little bit more on muscle support.
Yeah.
And that's where this HUXWRX suppressor, that's another benefit too of these, that flow through, is I found out the thing cools a lot quicker than the traditional suppressor, just because there's more airflow in there. But back to shooting this. So what I want to do when I grab the rifle, this is my steering wheel.
Okay.
And I'm grabbing it, I'm pulling it back towards me, and it's allowing me to control the rifle. I'm not bladed like the bone. I'm more facing the target.
Okay.
Weight is on the balls of my feet going forward. So I'm right here, like when you get to that AR challenge, there's going to be like a string of fire of 5 rounds. You'll probably be starting in this position, and the buzzer goes off, and you come up and you go. And that was slow. That was me. That was old man arthritic finger coming up. coming up. But if you look, hopefully in the video when you saw that, I was pulling this back into my shoulder, and now I'll do it with a little bit weaker grip, like what we might do with high power. So I'm getting a little bit more rise in the rifle. So by pulling this back into my shoulder, I get less of a rise.
And if you don't have this here, do you just...
You do the C grip.
Okay.
Which we'll do that later with the Terran Tactical Ultralight.
Can I try this again?
This is a SIG.
No, could I try it?
Oh, try it? Yeah, sure.
I just want to try actually shooting it that way.
You got $1?
I think so.
Okay, there you go. You can shoot it. Yeah, here we go. Weapons on safe. It's clear. Grab another magazine.
I won't shoot many rounds, I promise.
Oh, shoot however many you want.
Okay, so here, not bladed.
Actually, take your thumb, put it on this side.
Okay.
Now pull it back. So you got more leverage. Maybe hold it up a little bit higher than your shoulder.
Okay, so like I'm used to putting it deep in my pocket.
Yeah, because that's what we're used to doing with high power. So this, you bring, make sure, yeah, there you go. Bring the rifle to you. You don't go to the rifle.
Right. I mean, I'm used to that, but usually I take it here and I pull it up in, but I'm used to having my bone support here.
Yeah,
I'm
I am
able
too.
to kick out my hip,
Yeah.
so I can balance it entirely like that. This is a lot.
Right. So again, put your thumb over here for that C grip, and you're pulling it back in your shoulder.
Okay.
Lean forward, balls on the way. Now bend your knees.
Like that?
Balls on the way to your foot. Balls on the way to your
Weight
foot.
on the balls of your foot?
Weight on the balls of your foot.
Okay.
Forward. Almost like, you remember that movement drill that we were doing?
Yes.
That you're doing so excellent at?
Just like
same,
that.
Same concept.
Okay.
Same concept.
It's just a lot of weight I'm not used to. I look so weak. Okay. So just like that?
Yeah. Yeah, you're good to go.
Oh, I forgot I'm like leaning back.
Bend at the knees, not just at the waist. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect. Then the other thing you can do also in that movement is you're kind of like standing here
Yeah.
like a duck,
Okay.
or however we want to call it, or a penguin. That's what it is.
That's more like a penguin. Yeah.
More like a penguin. Put your feet forward towards the target.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen when you have to move, well, now I can just move. And I'm on a camera and I can move back. If I have my feet spread out, well, now I'm like a Charlie Chaplin guy. And
Yeah.
it's not very efficient.
No. It's just, it takes all different muscles. It's funny.
It does. And again, like I said, that's one of the things with functional mobility, building the different supporting muscles that you have. So if you have a rubber band, or like if you go to TJ Maxx, Marshalls, you can get them for like $5.
Yeah.
Wrap it around a pole somewhere, maybe have your husband hold one end, and just practice and pulling it and holding it.
Okay.
Holding it.
It's kind of like how archery takes very different muscles.
Yes. That's a very good analogy.
Well, thank you
Well,
so
good.
much.
Well, I'm glad you
that was
enjoyed
fun.
that, and you've seen the difference.
I really enjoyed it because before I always hated it. Like when I'd go to range days and things, I was so used to having everything come back in my face. And I knew like there's like gas defeating charging handles, or you can kind of makeshift one like you did there, but it only reduces it. It doesn't eliminate it. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think that it could be eliminated.
Oh yeah. Well, and not just that. It's the performance of the rifle. Like I can take this suppressor, I put it on any rifle, and it works. Also, what I have found out with the Flow is, if I've used it on SBRs, I've used it on my 18-inch rifle that I use for long-range events. There's no point of impact shift on this. On my Accuracy International, my 308, whenever I use the suppressor on there, I know I need to come 1/10 of a mil right and 1/10 of a mil down.
At least you know what it is.
I continue that all the way out to 1,000 yards, and it works. So the sheer act of putting weight on a rifle at the end of a barrel, the sheer act of changing anything on that muzzle, you're going to change the dynamics of barrel performance. Like if you ever read anything from Glenn Zedeker.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, loved him. Is he had in his first book, he talked about the AMU did a whole test on how much torque needed to be on that muzzle device. And they found out, depends. Some barrels wanted the thing torqued down to 50 inch-pounds. Some wanted it just barely tight enough to stay on. So it all changes. So that's, one thing to look at if you get into the suppressor world. If you're just worried about decibels, that's like trying to judge a car by gas mileage alone.
Okay.
You have to look at the whole, not just the parts.
And this
like
model is available in multiple calibers, right?
Yeah, well, the Flow, it's available in a 5.56 and a 7.62.
Okay.
The 7.62 can, you can put this on the gun. You take the 7.62 can and put it on a 5.56 mount,
Okay.
but you can't do it the other way.
Yeah.
Because they're designed to do that, because there's a limiter. The way it's designed internally, if I were to try and take the 5.56 and put it on the 7.62, it won't engage the threads.
Okay.
So that's a safety issue.
Smart thing to do.
Another thing too, if you're in a wet, damp environment, because of this flow through design, if I get water in here, I don't need to worry about it, because, well, I can't say that officially, but I at some point put one of these in a bucket of water, pulled it out and shot it, and it worked fine.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, versus a traditional suppressor where you have those chambers and the water's captured in there. This one's still hot.
This one's hot too, but I could at least touch it. I'm not like burning myself on it.
The traditional, and now I've got a burned sling on there. That's cool. Not cool. You've got those chambers in there with water, and this is where we get into the thing with physics. Liquids are non-compressible.
Right.
So all that stuff has to go somewhere.
Is there any part of it that would get heated up to the point of evaporating?
The water? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, after you shoot a couple of rounds through that, it'll evaporate the water. But prior to that, you've got that water in there that has to go somewhere. So who knows what it is going to damage. I have yet to see any film from a company with a traditional suppressor that does any water testing.
Okay.
I did see one, HK did one, but it was a very specialized suppressor for their, was it a 416 or 4? It's a very expensive rifle that none of us would probably have.
I haven't memorized, contrary to what people think, I've not memorized every rifle and model.
You haven't?
No,
Why
I
not?
haven't.
Come on, man. All righty. Anything else with that?
I think that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll keep on going. Yeah, it's just, like I said, check out HUXWRX, the YouTube videos. They're great. Because like I said, especially like if you're working in a team, if you're an operator working operationally in an operating environment, all that gas you were shooting, when you play back your video, you'll probably see me jerking my head back because all that gas is flowing back at me.
Yeah, I'm just like, when I was shooting, I was kind of like trying to blink, so I'm taking longer too.
Yeah.
Because you're more also, my mind's like, hey, I'm worried about my eyesight. Like, is there anything in there that I need to be worried about? Because it doesn't just come back at you, it stings a little bit too.
Yeah, it does, because you've got to remember, not all that gunpowder in there gets burned totally. There's always some part left that'll cause speckling and other burns. So you don't want that going into your eyes. Your eyes typically don't like hot things coming into them.
Really?
Yeah, we had that in '94 during the fires in Los Angeles. We had some deputies who had some really bad eye problems because the cinders were coming and going into their eyes, which is why we then started carrying actual goggles instead of glasses in our bailout bags.
Okay.
In case of that.
That makes a difference. Well, thank you very much. I've definitely enjoyed learning about these. This is my first time playing around with HUXWRX, and like I said, I don't have tons of suppressor experience, but I've had some good interactions, some negative interactions with gas guns, so this is a really, really pleasant surprise.
Cool. We'll get you some more.
All right.
All righty.